Land banks are an incredibly potent tool to deal with the foreclosure crisis and all this abandonment that has occurred as a result of it. Where subprime lending occurred on a massive level, foreclosures and private foreclosures ended up decimating entire neighborhoods, decimating them in the form of large-scale abandonment by the borrowers who got into perhaps ill-advised loans, as well as banks that foreclosed and didn't want to take the properties because properties were distressed. So the properties just sat there. They became vandalized. And it continues to be large-scale chaos in certain portions of the county and certain neighborhoods.
Land banks have become an important part of reimagining our communities. Land banks are now playing a role of redevelopment on a much larger scale than any other local community development corporation or city entity.
We usually get a pool from Fannie Mae, HUD, tax foreclosure, and banks.
On average, we receive about 100 properties a month. We acquire these properties based on an evaluation that we do prior to taking title, and that evaluation will tell us whether or not it's a demolition or a rehab.
If it's going to be marketed for rehabilitation because the property has some good features to it, we then prepare the specifications and we do what's necessary to repurpose that property and get it rehabilitated.
If a qualified buyer comes forward and is interested in purchasing a house from the land bank, what we essentially do is provide that buyer with what we call a renovation specification. That is what it would require in order to bring that property back up to code. If a buyer comes forward and is able to demonstrate that he has or she has the financial capability necessary to afford not only the acquisition of that property, but also the renovation, we then will consider that buyer's offer.
We know that we have an excess of glut of substandard houses that we need to remove. And I've been on streets where people are cheering the bulldozers when they come, and I've been on streets where people are excited and handing me applications to say, I'd love to take that land, I'd love to be able to garden in it and expand my home. It's been amazing to see the real positive outcome of what the land bank has been doing.
Demolition strategically done in communities actually eliminate the blighting influences and allow the remaining property values to increase and stabilize at a higher dollar amount.
We needed to find a tool, a vehicle, a repository in which that chaos could be harnessed by bringing those properties into the land bank so that those properties could properly be triaged, they could be examined.
What we're looking at is how do we repurpose low-value properties, how do we repurpose land, and how do we create new value in our neighborhoods that have lost significant value due to the foreclosure crisis.